All right, let's talk about something that can feel, well, pretty intense at first, the Adobe After Effects interface. My whole goal today is to take this incredibly powerful software and make it feel less like some kind of crazy maze and more like your own personal playground for motion design. So, you know what? Let's just pull back the curtain and get you comfortable in the driver's seat. So, you've just opened up After Effects for the first time, right? And you're staring at this screen that's just completely packed with panels and buttons and menus. If you're feeling even a tiny bit overwhelmed, just know that is a totally normal reaction. I mean, it looks complicated, I get it, but I promise you there's a really beautiful logic hiding in plain sight.
Okay, let's try to reframe how we're looking at this. Instead of seeing a mess of controls, I want you to see it as your creative cockpit, or maybe your digital workshop. Every single panel you're looking at is like a dedicated station in that workshop, and it's all designed for one thing, to help you bring your ideas to life. So in this explainer, we are going on the grand tour, and trust me, we're gonna make it simple.
All right, so welcome to the cockpit. Let's start by understanding the main areas. Before we get lost in all the little buttons and details, we're going to focus on the big picture first. We'll break the whole screen down into its largest, most fundamental sections. Now, here's the thing you have to understand. None of this is random. The entire interface is actually built to mirror a really logical creative workflow. Think about it. First, you need to get your stuff, right? Your assets. Then, you have to build your scene. And finally, you make it move. The whole layout is designed specifically to guide you through that exact process.
Okay, so keeping that workflow in mind, let's talk about what I like to call your creative trinity. These are the three panels that are the absolute heart of every single project. And I'm not kidding. Mastering these is the key to unlocking pretty much everything you're ever going to do in After Effects.
So here they are. These are the three core panels that have to work together. You see that one on the top left? That's your project panel. The big window right in the middle? That's the composition panel. And that long one spanning the entire bottom of the screen? That's your timeline. These three are always talking to each other. Seriously, understanding how they're connected is the first huge step. So let's break them down, one by one. Okay, first up, we've got the project panel. Think of this as your digital supply cabinet. It's the library where you're going to import and organize all of your raw materials. Video clips, images, logos, audio files, literally everything you need before you can even think about starting to build. Next up, that big window smack in the middle, that's the composition panel. So if the project panel is your supply cabinet, then this is your main workbench. It's your visual canvas, your stage. Any video, any image, any text you're working on, it's going to show up right here. What you see here is exactly what your final video is going to look like. It's a true what you see is what you get situation. And finally, we have that long panel across the bottom, the timeline. This is the blueprint for your entire animation. This is where you'll stack up your layers, set keyframes, and control how everything changes over time, reading from left to right. Honestly, this is where the real magic of motion happens. It's where it's all orchestrated. Okay, let's talk about the animator's toolbox, your essential instruments. So we get the layout of our workshop now, right? We have our supplies, our stage, and our blueprint. But how do we actually build anything? Well, for that, we need to open up the toolbox. These are the instruments you're going to use to actually change things on your stage. If you look at the very top of the screen, you'll see a toolbar with a whole bunch of icons. Don't worry about all of them. You can get so far by just mastering these four. The selection tool is basically your mouse pointer for moving, rotating, and scaling stuff. The shape and pen tools, they let you draw things from scratch. And the type tool is for, well, adding text. Seriously, just focus on these four and you'll be off to a fantastic start. All right, next up, adding style and polish. This is about effects, text, and previews. So once you've got the basic skeleton of your scene built, it's time to add some style, right? That professional polish. For that, we're going to look at a few other essential panels that really control the look and feel of your work. And this shows a really key workflow. Over on the right side of the screen, you're going to find a panel called Effects and Presets. Think of it as a huge library of visual effects. You just find the one you want, drag it onto your layer, and then, and this is the magic part, your Effects Controls panel, which is usually over on the left, just springs to life with all the settings for that specific effect. It's a really simple but super powerful find and refine process. When it comes to text, you've got two main control centers, and you'll usually find them on the right. First is the character panel. This is for all the nitty-gritty details. Font, size, color, the spacing between letters. Then you've got the paragraph panel, which handles the bigger picture stuff, like alignment and indentation. Between the two of them, you have total control over every single word. Okay, so you've arranged your layers, you've added some cool effects, but how do you actually see if it's working? See it in motion. That's what the preview panel is for. It's usually over on the right, and it's got your big master play button. You are going to be using this panel constantly to check your work. All right, last major section here, setting up for success by customizing your workspace. Now, before you even think about diving into your first big project, let's talk about setting up your workshop properly. Just taking a minute to tweak a few key settings is going to make your life so much smoother and safer. Okay, before you do anything else, I need you to go into your preferences and do these 3 things. First, and this is totally non-negotiable, turn on autosave. This will be your safety net. It's going to save you from that heartbreak of losing hours of work when the program crashes. Trust me. Second, check your memory and performance settings. Just make sure you're giving After Effects enough juice to run smoothly. And finally, just take a quick look at the preview settings. This is where you can find the right balance between how smooth the playback is and how good it looks while you're working. So let's do a super quick recap of our tour. Remember, your main workspace is that creative trinity. The project panel for supplies, the composition panel is your workbench, and the timeline is your blueprint. For your core tools, just focus on mastering the selection, shape, pen, and type tools first. To add that polish, you find your effects in Effects and Presets, and then you tweak them in Effect Controls. And please, for your own sanity, go set up autosave. I want you to always remember this. The most complex interfaces are really just simple tools grouped together. Even a program that looks as intimidating as this one is just a collection of simple tools, and each one has a very specific job. Once you start to understand the job of each main section, the whole program just stops being so complex and starts feeling way more empowering. And that's our tour. You officially have the map now. That creative cockpit we talked about, it's all yours to command. So really the only question left is, now that you know the layout, what are you going to create first? It's time to get in there and start building.